was a fairly close victory. You get your hand raised, you're state champ. What's going through your head?
I was like, I did this. I had never expected it. Coach T expected me to do it.
Yeah.
I was just more like, I was just here. I showed up pretty much. Wrestled my hardest, wrestled smart. I go into almost every tournament thinking, whatever happens, happens. Because especially that tournament, I was like, I don't have much to lose, I'm 30 pounds up.
Welcome, everybody. This is your guest, Ricky Cheese Marcus from the FloridaWrestlingRoom.com and the Florida Wrestling Room Facebook page. I am a special guest host on the North Florida Wrestling Show. And we have a very special guest here. North Florida is very, very tough. State champ and fifth in the state. We've got David Mercado from North Bay Haven. David, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for letting me out.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So let's just kind of jump right into it. I know you are a jiu-jitsu guy. Talk to me a little bit about the jiu-jitsu and if that's what got you into wrestling, and if not, what did get you into wrestling?
Jiu-jitsu, I started when I was 6, and it really gave me all my grappling skills and movement skills that I even used during wrestling. My freshman year, it really influenced me to get into wrestling. And I was like, I may as well try out something, see if I could be good at something else that would translate to something that could help me get into college. And it's been a big part of my whole wrestling ever since.
Okay. So at what age did you actually jump into the wrestling?
My freshman year. So I was probably 14, 15 when
That's
I first
crazy.
started.
So you didn't start wrestling until 9th grade, and you've already won a state title. That's pretty uncommon. The state titles normally, I mean, not all the time, but usually are won by the guys that start at the age that you started your jiu-jitsu. So that's a heck of an accomplishment. Congratulations on that. So let's kind of go into that now. So you're at North Bay Haven. First of all, I hear you're a really good student. What's your GPA?
My weighted is about 4.3.
I couldn't even dream of having that when I was in high school. That's awesome. And that's what it's all about, man. The grades come first, and everything comes along with that. All right. So 4.3 GPA. So you're at North Bay Haven. How'd you do your freshman year?
My freshman year, I went 2-2 at state. I placed second at regionals.
Okay. Pretty good accomplishment to win 2 matches at the state tournament as a brand new freshman. And now your coach was Zane Turnipseed, right? From North Bay Haven? Okay.
Well, my freshman year, he was an assistant coach. But
assistant? Yes. Who was the head coach at that time?
Coach Gibbons is what I called him, yeah.
And then did Zane take it over the following year?
Yep, and all the rest.
So your sophomore year, he was head coach. All right, so sophomore year, tell me a little bit about that.
My sophomore year, after winning 2 matches at state, I figured wrestling would be something I could be good at.
Yeah. And
so I went to regionals, won regionals, ended up placing up to 4th in state.
So first year, 2-2, you're not on the podium. Second year, get a little bit more serious about it. You go and place 4th?
Yes, sir.
Incredible. It's incredible. You may not know that it's incredible, but that's incredible. Junior year, you win it all. Year, you win it all. So junior year, you go 190, right?
I went 220.
220. Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. You're definitely not 220 pounds. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You looked a little small. I mean, you won it. So, hey, kudos to you. You looked a lot smaller than the kids that you beat. So talk to me a little bit about that. What's up with the 220? Why would you go 220?
Well, Coach Zane is he likes to analyze a lot of the brackets. He'll predict out whole brackets, and a lot of the times they'll be very accurate. So he's looking for all the opportunities we can to have me place the highest. And 190 would have that year probably had me place second or third.
Okay.
Not a very high chance of winning first. There's
Why was that? Who was the state champ?
uh, Michael Mako.
Okay.
He's a, we'll
say
say,
say
pretty
no
hard
more.
opponent.
Hey, listen, you never know what can happen, but I get it. There's a strategy there. We're going with the percentages. I think I would agree. And you know what? You got to thank your coach for that, because hell of a strategy. I mean, he knew what he was talking about. You went to the state tournament and you won the whole damn thing. So you get to the semifinals. Who do you have in the semifinals the year that you won it?
I think I know his name, but I do not remember the school.
What school was he from? Or what was his name?
His name was Ralph Ritchie.
Key West.
That's what it was.
Key West. So you got Ralph Rich at Key West. Do you remember how that match ended? Was it a decision? Was it a major? Was it a pin?
It was by points. I'm not sure if it was by a major or not.
Close match or not really?
It wasn't terribly hard or anything.
Okay, so you won that match, no problem. What's the thoughts that are going through your head? So now you got a little bit of time before the state finals. You're like, wow, man. At what point did it click in your head? I'm wrestling in state damn finals.
It didn't. I tried my hardest not to think about it really until, because for me, I didn't think I was gonna make it that far. Being down 30 pounds is a lot.
Yeah.
I was more surprised to be in there, and I only really realized, and while I was wrestling, I was like, I'm here right now. I gotta turn it up.
Yeah, this is happening. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Giving away 30 pounds, beating these guys. What's Coach Turnipseed? What's Zane telling you after you already win your semis against Key West? What does he tell you? What is he saying about this? Talk to me about that, man. I gotta know what he's saying.
Coach T, he says this a lot. He often says, none of these kids out here can beat me, and you can beat me. So go out there and wrestle your best, and you'll be fine.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And is it true? Do you beat him?
I ended up winning, and I do beat up Coach T.
I love it. That's awesome. All right, so state finals. Who do you have in the state finals?
I have Damian Soto from Mater Lakes.
Know him well. All right, so let's go through that match a little bit. First period, talk me through the match.
First period was I was feeling him out a lot because he's I have to make sure to see how strong he is. Yeah. And he was definitely strong. There was a couple of iffy moments where I was tying up with him and he almost tipped me off balance, and I had to scramble back up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too worried about him shooting or anything because I had watched him before wrestle at state. I wanted to be ready for all my opponents, see who could make it. I was pretty prepared for what he could do in neutral, which usually he would sit back and try to throw you.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough, we were both jiu-jitsu guys.
Okay.
So I was pretty ready for any of the jiu-jitsu moves he was gonna do. One he tried to do was similar to a balloon sweep, which is where you put both your legs in between and you bridge him over from neutral.
Yep.
He had me in a guillotine when he tried it, and so they called an illegal choke, or they called it, what is it, caution?
Potentially dangerous.
Potentially dangerous, and my coach went up there and argued that's a legal move or whatever. But I was fine. I wasn't really feeling a choke at the moment. I was just making sure I didn't get too taken. And I don't think we scored any first period. I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
So going into the second period, let me say this. At what point did the action really start to progress where points were being scored? Was it in the second or was that in the third?
So the second is when points were scored, and also third.
Now the match ends. What score? What's the score?
6-4, I think.
Okay, so it was a fairly close victory. You get your hand raised, your state champ. What's going through your head?
I was like, I did this. I had never expected it. Coach T expected me to do it.
Yeah.
I was just more like, I was just here. I showed up pretty much. I wrestled my hardest, wrestled smart.
Absolutely. Now, you hear people talk all the time about wrestling is, a huge part of it is mental. And, you really got to have that belief in yourself. You got to enter these tournaments knowing that you can win and not have any doubts. But what I'm hearing from you is a little bit different. You're like, I just kind of went out there, kind of did my thing. And, I was like, wow, I didn't know I could do this, but I did it. So what was your mental state going in? Were you just going in saying, I'm just going to go do my best and whatever happens, happens? Or did you go in saying, listen, I know I can beat all these guys and this is what I'm going to do?
I go into almost every tournament thinking, whatever happens, happens. Because especially that tournament, I was like, I don't have much to lose, I'm 30 pounds under,
Yeah.
but I know I have more technique than the kids there. So
Yep.
I know I could win, but I'm not going to expect to win because that's when a person gets cocky and you end up throwing matches.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. And you know what they say? I don't know if you've ever heard this, but the most dangerous guy is the guy that doesn't have anything to lose. So it's funny that you said that. All right, so you're a state champ. You come back. Now you're a senior this year. You ranked number one pretty much the entire year, I believe, at least in the FloridaWrestlingRoom.com rankings you were. So let's get right to the George Mulligan. I know something happened there. I know you got fifth, but I also saw in the semis you forfeited. So that's why you lost in the semis. What happened at the George Mulligan?
The second day, I wrestled the first day of the tournament. Some weird things were happening then. I don't know, something with the coaches about, because the next day I wasn't going to be there because I'm part of a HOSA for my school, and that was regionals that day. Regionals to me was more important than one tournament. And so I went out there.
Real quick, explain what HOSA is.
HOSA is like it's a health organization thing where other schools can compete.
Okay.
For different categories and whatever.
Okay, and that has to do with your school.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm with you. So the second day you're not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So you were not even there the second day. So okay. I thought you were injured. When I looked at the bracket, I was like, all right, you probably got hurt or something. So no injury. You're completely fine.
I was injured. I was injured, but that's not why I missed the day of the tournament.
Okay. So how were you injured? What was the injury?
I was in jiu-jitsu class, and I was doing a calf slicer, playing around against someone I really shouldn't have. And a calf slicer, I don't want to flash my feet, but you pull up your leg, and I put it through the other person's leg, and I started pulling on it closer and closer.
Okay.
And I pulled my LCL out of place and snapped right back right after.
Wow.
And, they told me the recovery time was supposed to be 6 weeks or whatever. We went probably about like 2 weeks and then kept on trying to wrestle with it.
Yeah.
Didn't do well. Hurt myself against a Camden match.
Okay.
And I took the actual 6 weeks off, and then it got better, but it was still kind of shaky and hurting. And then we got a shot, whatever, to make it, to numb it out before state.
Okay. So let's get there. So you wrestle districts, district champ. You wrestle regionals, region champ. We get to states. You're the returning state champ or defending state champion. Now you're at 190 again, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or yes, not sir. Again. You're at 190 this year. Last year you were at 220.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're back down to your regular weight. All right. So you get to the state tournament. You meet Chavis from Zephyr Hills Christian. That was in the semis, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, before we talk about that match, this was not the first time that you had wrestled Chavis. You had wrestled him previously, correct?
I don't think so.
Oh, you never wrestled him?
No, sir.
Oh, I thought you had. Okay. So you wrestled Chavis. It's a close match. I think what was the final score of that match? 6-4, maybe? I don't know.
It was closer than the score on the board was, because at last second I tried an arm drag and sat on my butt.
Yep, for sure. All right, so listen, that had to be, first of all, Chavis is no joke, man. Big, strong, aggressive kid from Zephyr Hills Christian. Whatever, it happens, you lost, you move on. Now, what's your mindset moving on? Because to take a hit in the semis and to be able to, get your mind straight again, it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're the defending or returning state champion. No matter what weight class it was, you're still the returning state champion. So where was your mind after this semis loss?
I will say it wasn't in a great place. It hadn't. The whole state tournament hadn't started off in a great place because my first match, I had a lot of trouble. I don't know what was going on with me. Funny enough, you'd think going to state 3 times would get rid of all the nerves.
Right.
I think because it was my last year, I felt I needed to perform well. My nerves were really, really getting to me.
Yeah.
Which usually I get nervous, but it was never that bad. Every single match I wrestled, I felt wasn't my best, wasn't my greatest. I wasn't wrestling my style, and then when I lost my semifinals, I was like, what's the point anymore? I still wanted to win, of course, but
yep,
I wasn't thinking straight. That match, I didn't wrestle how I wrestle. I don't lock up with people, but you saw me in the match. I bear hugged them.
Yep.
And I got thrown on my back right off that. And I had him in every other position. I could feel it. But I put myself in a terrible position.
Yeah.
Exactly where Coach T told me not to go.
Yep.
Those are the consequences.
It happens, man. Now we're in the consolation semis. And we got a tough match. We got Osby from Palm Bay, man, another big, strong, aggressive kid. And you wound up dropping that match, I believe, right? So now you got
Sure.
2 losses back to back at the state tournament. You got to be freaking out at this point.
Weirdly enough, for me, I felt calmer, because I was just like, I'm already. Well, for me, this was pretty heartbreaking,
Yeah.
I would say, because the best I can place is lower than I placed my sophomore year, and you want to see progression as
Sure.
you go up through your years, and I went up, I peaked, and I went down.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wrestle how I wrestle. I had like a little realization. I was like, I haven't been wrestling like me. I just that tournament, I was trying to wrestle like a conventional wrestler, and that's not how I am. That's not who I am. And so I took it more into my react. I'm more of a reactive wrestler than I am a proactive one, and I definitely wrestled how I wrestled my last match, which was nice because it was also my 200th.
Oh, beautiful!
Month.
Congratulations on that. So you're at the state tournament, losing the semis, losing the consi semis. Kind of try to get your mind back together. Now you're wrestling for 5th place. You got a kid from Evangelical Christian. I think that's who it was, right? ECS. Okay, yeah. And you win that match. So you finished on a win, as you just said, your 200th career win, which is absolutely incredible. So congratulations on that again. And now that the state tournament's over, there's got to be some type of relief going on.
Yeah, it was definitely me not doing as well as I thought. Definitely didn't hit as hard as it could have, because I had my teammates there with me this time. First time we've ever had more than one person go to state. Other people there with me, other people who were experiencing the same things as me, definitely helped me get through the losses.
That's awesome. So as far as what's next for David Mercado, you're graduating. What's after that?
Now I'll be going to hopefully FSU and pursuing engineering.
Very, very cool.
Sort.
Now, I know they have some type of club program. You plan on doing any of that, or are you just kind of done with everything?
I might be doing club wrestling. I'll see how much I'm missing wrestling at the time when I go there. If anything, I would go there to do it to stay in shape. Sure. Definitely. I have not worked out my whole high school career for wrestling. So if I stop wrestling, like over the summer, even when I'm doing club practices, I get up to 215. Right now I'm 200. So I gain the weight pretty quick, but I also lose it pretty quick. I need to make sure I don't get so high to where I can't come back down.
That definitely happen. I've seen it happen to many kids where I don't even recognize them. They get so big. All right. So engineering, and So listen, if you're an engineer and you're a smart kid, what's the goal? Like, what do you want to do as a career?
Really, the main goal is to make enough money to where I'm comfortable, but that's everyone's goal, you know. I'm gonna try going into
Okay.
computer engineering. I've almost right now I'm in Calc 2, so hopefully I'll finish that, not have to worry about so much math
Yep.
as I
Yep.
get into college.
That's a good thing. That's a good plan. And computer engineering is always a good field. Do you have a brother that wrestles as well? Little brother, right?
I do.
What grade is he in?
Yes, sir.
Now, did
He's
he
a
start
sophomore.
because of you, or he wanted to do it all along?
Uh, I think he started originally because of me, and then as he did it, he started to enjoy it, and then wanted to do it
And what
more.
weight class does he wrestle?
This year he wrestled
Okay, did he make it to
126.
state? I don't remember. No. Okay.
He did
So,
not.
as his big brother, what do you tell him? What advice do you give him?
I was because he's pretty tall for the 126 weight class. I told him you gotta, some people don't need to work out or try as
Hmm.
hard as other people, and other people like when you're like I'd say for my weight class, I'm like a really good height.
Yep.
I'm a good width. There wasn't much building that I had to do. But for someone who's tall and skinny in a weight class, you either gotta learn to ride legs and
Right.
cradle, or get stronger, get more muscle, and go up to
Yeah.
the next weight class.
So what's he gonna do? Is he gonna put muscle on, or what's he gonna do?
He's been working out. Hopefully he's
Okay,
140 right now, so
good.
he's pretty
And
big.
pack some muscle on that frame, man. All right, well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking and going through that. I know sometimes it's not real comfortable going through something that wasn't so pleasurable at one point, but I do appreciate you stepping up for that. I think you're a hell of a human being. I think you're gonna have a great future, and I do wish you all the best of luck, man. Absolutely.
Thank you.